Hello everyone, so welcome to my YouTube channel. So my name is Book From Betty Azar and we will learn about basic English grammar. So if you are learning English or just need a grammar refresher, you are in the right place. So today we will talk about Basic English Grammar, second edition by Betty Azar. So we will summarize each chapter, highlighting key grammar concept and example. So let's get started.
Okay, so let's get started. So we have some list of the contents in the book. The first one is using be and have. The second one expressing present time. The third one nouns and pronouns. The fourth one is expressing past time. The fifth one expressing future time. The sixth one expressing ability. And then the seventh one expressing ideas with verb. So the first chapter is using be and have. So in this chapter, we are focusing on the basic sentence structure using be and have. But before that, we need to know what is be and what is have. So be is usually used to describe something or identity, or I would say identify something. And then we have. So have usually used for a position. Okay, so the key concept is the singular and plural form of be, so such as is, are, am. So there is the example of it. So the first one is singular. A cat is an animal. And then the plural one, cats are animals. Okay, so there is contractions make sentence more controversial. So the first one is contraction with be, such as I'm, your, his. Because I cannot put it in the presented in this one, so I will say it now. So the example was I'm tired, you are ready, and then his notebook is green. And also we can use have and possessive adjectives such as my, your, his. So for the example, I have your homework. Moving on to chapter 2, expressing present time. So in this chapter we have two parts. The first part is about some simple present tense, and also for the part 2 it's talk about the progressive one. So for now we're gonna talk about the part 1 first. So, for this one we're gonna focus on a simple present tense for habits and the fact. So the example is she walks to school every day. The sun rises in the east. So as you can see from the example, or I would say as you can hear from the example, the key concept is structure, subject plus base verb or verb 1, and then there is a frequently adverb. Sometimes we're gonna use it. And then after that we have some negative and a question form, such as I don't like coffee, do you like coffee? So there is more example of it, such as he often eats lunch at noon. I don't play soccer, and do you play soccer? I studied every day. Does she work here? Moving on to the part 2. So in this part we're gonna focusing on the present progressive tense. So it's use it for ongoing action. For example, I'm reading a book. They are studying for an exam. from this example, we're gonna hear that the key concept is a subject plus to be, such as is, are, am, and then plus verb ing. And then after that, how does it differ from the simple present? Well, we can see from it. So the differences between simple present and present progressive is, for the first one, I work. So for I work is usually habit. So habit always in the present tense, simple present tense. Meanwhile, for I am working, that means now. So it's still ongoing, but yeah, I would say that right now he's still working, but we didn't know about it later though. So we're gonna skip it also. Okay, we're moving on to the chapter 3, nouns and pronouns. Okay, so for this nouns and pronouns, we need to focus on understanding and using nouns and pronouns. So this chapter will divide into nouns and pronouns, but I think dividing it will take a long time. So we're gonna combine all of them. So nouns is the name of the things, while pronouns is replace them to avoid repetition. So for the key concept is a singular and plural form of nouns, countable and uncountable nouns such as a and some, and then subject and object pronouns such as he, him, she, her, I, my, like that. For an example, I see a cat, and then they are students. So in the chapter 4, it's about expressing past time. So here we are exploring the past, usually using simple past tense for a complete action. Like I said, it's about using on the simple past tense, okay? So there is regular verbs and then irregular verbs. So same as the present tense, but the differences is for a regular verb add ed, like walk, turn into walked, and then for the irregular verbs have their own words, like that, have their own form of the word for the past. So there is a negative, there is some negative and a question form, such as I didn't go. So did is irregular verbs of do. And then there's a question form also, did she call? Moving on to chapter 5, expressing future time. So we are talking about a future. Okay, for this one, we are focusing on talking about future events. So what is the future event used for? Okay, for the formula first, usually they use will or be going to. Okay, for the example, I will travel and she is going to visit. So in this part, will is usually used for a quick decision, but for going to, always using for the plans. So we are moving on to the chapter 6, expressing ability. So expressing ability like swimming, playing a guitar, like that. Okay. people usually people usually saying like that because they have an ability of it. So the key concept of it is using can for a present and then use could for the past. For example, I can swim is a for present, and then could. She could sing beautifully. She could run faster than I could. So that means two of them can be expressing an ability of a people or himself or herself. And then you will also learn to make a polite request using a may or could. The first one, may I borrow your pen? Could you pass the salt? So we have the last chapter is a chapter 7 about expressing ideas with verbs. Okay, for this one, this is the final chapter to explore modal verb of advice, necessity, and a possibility. So that means this is focusing on modal verb and the perfect tenses. Okay, for the example, you should study for the exam. I must finish this project. So this example have a key concept such as more for the modals like should, must, have to. For the present perfect tense, usually using for I have finished. And then there is the past progressive. For the past progressive, using she was reading. Well, I think that's all from the Basic English Grammar by Betty Azar in a nutshell. This book is a treasure trove for mastering English grammar, especially if you're just starting out. Practice these rules daily and you'll see amazing progress. And also thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more language tips. Goodbye!